Greetings everyone, and welcome to the Quantum Cafe and Interstellar Lounge, with your host here, the Cosmic Messenger. It is a wonderful opportunity to be here with you and have all of these amazing conversations, sharing deep insights and wisdoms and star wisdom for the collective, for the individual, for our inner verse. This is a multidimensional hub where no topic is off limits when it comes to awakening the full potential of our being, who we are, and what it means to live in a quantum, multidimensional universe. It is awesome to be here with you guys today. And we just came through the fall equinox, which is always tremendous amounts of energy influx on the planet. The 4 cardinal points, right? The 2 equinoxes and the 2 solstices create an abundance of ever-changing information, wisdoms, insights, and influxes of energy, right? It opens up a portal into our soul. These are also the 4 cardinal points to initiate and to look back on the previous 3 months that passed and what's taking place inside of our world and in the outer versions of it too. Powerful, powerful changes. In the spring, we plant those seeds, right? And then we nurture them and we watch them grow. In the fall, it's like, well, what happened to them? Where are they growing? Where did they come from? What did they turn into? Because some of them we're not aware of and others we are. So we just had that vortex, which is absolutely amazing. I love passing through the 4 cardinal points. And I just want to let everybody know before I get into the topic of today that recently it's a long transition leading up to this point, but stay tuned for co-transmissions with the Arcturian High Council. There's going to be many broadcasts shared of, they're not really fully downloads, nor are they channelings. There's no being taking over my body, and then we channel. It's not just straight downloads that then I write down in real time, even though it does kind of come out that way. These are star wisdoms and thought packets that enter my field, and we together negotiate a reality based on all of the wisdoms that we've accumulated together. There's various Arcturian high councils. I've sat on one of them before, one that made decisions for a large populace. If you guys don't know this about me, I haven't shared it too much on this channel, but it all started with a QHHT. No, sorry, it was Galactic Astrology. That was first. And then I discovered, because I always felt like I wasn't on this planet, and this was my first time. Well, it was in my Galactic Astrology chart. You got your birth chart. This is the next level after. All the stuff that happens off planet. And then I won't be here next lifetime, exactly what I was always feeling. The two main star lineages that resonate with me on a big, long, huge capacity was the Arcturians and the Spikans. Very interesting. So I had my Galactic Astrology. I knew that was there. Got to see some photos and some other things because I had acquired recently a book by Alana Denond, The Gifts from the Stars. And I just, wow, the Ahorai just really resonated with me. And that's a branch from the Arcturian zone. And then after that, I had a QHHT session, Quantum Hypnosis Healing Technique. Dolores Cannon really brought that into the fold. 3 hours long. And we went into my past lives, opened up the book of my Akashic Records. And I had sat on the Arcturian High Council and was taking a break on Earth from the responsibility that came from that particular council. And there was other ones that I participated in. And then after that, I had a humongous dream after the Lionsgate portal this year, and I saw 5 children. I scanned them. The most vivid dream I had ever had. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6. And I'm scanning through them, and all of a sudden I get to the Arcturian. All of them are children, kidlings, younglings, kidlings. And they're in the 4 to 6 solar years on Earth time. And I lock eyes with the Arcturian for 5 long minutes and just really loud inside of my head while I'm dreaming. It's the most vivid colors, the most vivid display and visualizations I'd ever seen. Octurian, Octurian, Octurian. And I was already going through a big transformation during this Lionsgate portal, so that was very profound. Then in the coming weeks after that, I started to receive, I just think for a bit, because Octurian stayed in my head, it was like Octurian High Council or something along those lines, and the antenna would just be lifted, out would be sent information, we'd start talking to each other. And after doing this cosmic dance for a few weeks, I started to log some of them down. I could shut it off, turn it on demand, just kind of there waiting for me. And what we discovered together was I was on the council, they're on the council, we're a viewpoint for different lenses on the planet. We're going to co-create and generate star wisdoms for the collective that are intermixed with downloading telepathy, thought packets, informational bits, what would seem like channeling, all kind of in one to create this new pod. So I'm going to be releasing these transmissions soon. That's the short version of the story. Pretty cool, right? So there's a lot of them coming through right now at this time, and I'm very grateful for them. Feels like a cosmic upgrade of sorts. Very, very cool. Okay, so the subject of today that I wanted to chat with you about is thoughts create reality. Now that's a big term that's going around the metaphysical and spiritual communities at this time, and has actually been here for a very long time. It's actually been here through all of our existence. As humans, humanoids, sentient beings, that is wisdom that is well known in the multiverse, but it has been forgotten on Earth. The impact of how those thoughts create reality, which you think you will design, and what we think together will create the collective output. Now it's really important to have more time to meditate on what that really means. So you have a thought inside of your mind, you're working through your mental body, right? All of the different things that exist inside of your mental body create reality around you. Well, you thought of the thought, or you had the feeling of the thought before you generated the action in order to do something. Sure, we take our hands, other times we use our throat chakra, our vocals for music, for speaking, podcasts, whatever we're doing. But we had the initial thought packet came from a sensation, a feeling, and a thought. And a lot of them, I was thinking of doing that, and then I decided to do it. So it's already a driving force in how we naturally create in the quantum field around us, how we magnetize, how we manifest, how we bring that in to ourselves. We use our thoughts, not for all of creation, but for a large portion of it. Many humans on Earth at this time have their thought packets, I'll call them, all of their thoughts, a good portion of them anyways, can be very toxic based on conditioning and societal reworking of the matrix has put us into a position where if this was our higher self, we're down over here, floating around kind of lost a little bit, right? Let's just be truly honest. If you're just, regurgitating pop culture over and over again, and that's the only reference point you really have, and it's occupying the majority of your time, is that your highest self? Or is going deep into your mind and setting intentions, or pre-programming these thought packets to come out with words that work? Because we're spelling as we speak. And as we speak, our thoughts and our spelling are linked. All of our mental activity comes together and creates a whole and a unison. So we're sharing these intentions in advance. It's like taking that deep breath, going deep inside of ourselves, and then allowing that to recalibrate before we go out and we share what we want to do. Or so that we can take this junk mail and we can put ourselves into a place where we're accessing the highest self. So instead of thoughts of denial, thoughts of attachments and lack, thoughts of I can't have this, Even when we say things like, that's too expensive. No, it has a higher price point. And I deserve to have the abundance of the entire universe come to me so that I can access all of the tools that will assist me along my path. Even something as simple as wanting to create a piece of artwork or doing anything creatively. Even things that we think aren't creative, we can use this as tools to upgrade. You change the thought pattern, you change the results. Or you massively influence the results based on thoughts, energy, feelings, and vibrations. If a being or an entity was to say to themselves on a regular basis, and they had negative sentences said to themselves over and over and over again, that gets lodged deep into our subconscious, and it collects as data bits, what I constantly call is junk mail, right? And you want to clean out that junk mail so that you can make room and bring in all of the parts that you need to create a successful, healthy, happy, coherent, well-balanced mind, mental body, mental complex. And this subconscious stuff continues with us lifetime after lifetime. It doesn't just stay here from this one incarnation, even if that's your viewpoint at this point in time, that we only incarnate once, here's my life, and after I die there is absolutely nothing that occurs. Fair enough, it's still compounding with you since you were a child. But all the other lifetimes that you do live that you're not aware of come back into the fold, one at a time. Each thought gets compounded. Let's say you're walking down a city street and you have all sorts of sound bites coming at you. People talking, businesses, music out front, this, that, and that. You're absorbing all of it. And if you don't regularly cleanse it on a continuous basis, and then it builds up and up and up and up. It's like they stack on top of each other. And that's what in turn creates this junk mail. Or it's useful bits for growing into new lessons, for spiritual growth, ascension, and awakening, knowing your inner self as well too. Just imagine you can wake up every single day and you can change your thought pattern. One of the easiest, quickest things to change. Nobody else but yourself knows that you're doing it. Well, there is telepathy out there in the universe and advanced modes with clairs. Clairs being like clairsentient, clairvoyant, clairaudient, claircognizant. And when you tap into those abilities, you can really understand that people are starting to go through these processes, right? Or you can go gentler on them because you know that they're doing some inner work, turning them on, turning them off on demand. They're kind of always there. But really, it's you and your own adventure. It doesn't matter what's going on with anybody else. But on Earth in 3D at this time, it is the safest, easiest way to go inside yourself and change those mental patterns on a constant, regular basis. So what I'm saying is, if you give instructions to the universe through your thoughts and your spoken word, you are able then to let the universe know what you'd like to create. Let yourself know what you'd like to create. Do you want to create health and vitality inside of your being? Do you want to give thanks for all of the wonderful things and abundance you have around you? Or do you want to complain about the lack of what you don't have? And that's a constant work. I go through these processes all the time. It's a very natural state of affairs. Are we nurturing ourselves with our thought patterns? Remember, our thought patterns also link with our visualizations. You have spoken, you have thoughts, and you have visualizations. It's a triangular effect. Because your thoughts influence what you will then see inside of your mind's eye. It's like it starts with the thought, starts with that feeling, and then it turns into a visualization. And so you guide these visualizations and hold those frequencies as long as possible, to then generate the momentum so that you can start to see it manifest around you. It may be a little bit slower when we're on Earth at this time, and that's okay too. Depends on the compounding effect. It also depends too on where you're at. Each person, each being, each entity is going to go at its own rate, right? Now, if you take past, future lives, even though it's all happening in the now, just imagine how much compounded information, especially if you've had many lifetimes on this planet particularly, or any planet that's full of distortions. Imagine how that compounds into your psyche and into the deep regions of your mind. And then you carry these things forward in your dream space through your conversations with people. It's great to socialize, to connect with beings, and to just riff off. But these day-to-day conversations that we have hold more power. I'm going to say it again. This is spelling. You're creating a spell when you think, when you talk, and when you visualize. Now, these aren't negative spells unless we choose to use them in those ways. Spelling is nothing to be feared. We transmute that fear, we let it go. It's beautiful. You are a magician. No different than the tarot card, the magician. And a very powerful one. Our thoughts also connect into our cellular networks and our DNA, because the three are inherently linked. So those signals get sent out, and then you're giving instructions to the more subtler layers of your being. You want to take these thoughts and you want to use them to your advantage. You want to bring them into the field so that you can change your life. Now, the direction it's going to go is completely up to you. But taking those pauses to really look at what thoughts you're having, what they mean, and how important they really are. I spent many years, and I still do it on occasion because it's a technique that I've learned for myself. But every time I think, hear, or say a word that I want to shift out loud, if I say it out loud, I will shift it. Go. And I'll say it to whoever's around me. I'd prefer not to use that word right now. I'm going to shift the movie and change the scene. And do it right there. Correct yourself, move. Just like a computer, you can delete it. Shift it. It's not bound the second you say it. It's the compounding effect of not nurturing it. Now, if you have a thought inside of your head and you don't want it to be there, or there's something that is just negatively impacting you, what I do is I visualize a circle and I draw it over top of the phrase, the word, or the sentence. So that highlights it. And then I draw an X over top of it. I hit the button and it goes delete. And I throw them out. I release them one by one beautifully. See you later. I don't need you anymore. And then one by one, you're cleaning up the garden of your thoughts, right? We're also dealing with situations during this current timeline too, where there's all sorts of frequencies coming at us, right? And they all carry bits and pieces of information. So we got to be mindful, again, of what we're digesting and how we use them. Thoughts are also really powerful when you use them for intentions. We're talking deep-seated intentions that want to make that change happen inside of us, so that we can become our highest self and shift all of the timelines around us. Because when you send out your thoughts, your visualizations, your spoken word, you're sending them through the astral planes. That's how things are able to travel through time and space at rates that we could only dream of at this point. But if you're dreaming and you all of a sudden appear on the other end of the planet and you're hanging out with X, Y, and Z person, well, how quickly did you get there? Instantaneously, or for very little delay. So if we create these big intentions and we feel them into the core of our body, dancing as particles all the way through us, slowing down the thoughts so we don't have 10,000 a day, not limiting ourselves if it did occur, but trying to focus on that one topic, trying to bring it in so that that can be fed the energy that it needs. If you were working on a piece of artwork or designing a dish for your restaurant, you nurture it. You get in there and you work it. You hone it. You think about it. It takes over your being. You're involved in it. You're swimming in it. How many thoughts we just go boom, bam, doesn't even matter, and you just walk over here and do X, Y, and Z. Right? It's something to think about because we can use them to program those intentions. And when we program our reality, then we're bringing in more spiritual insights for ourselves, because as we grow, then our own intelligence and our own wisdom, then our own capacity to be a radiant being that's working with its highest self can come through. And then we're able to share this wisdom that we're learning today, the wisdom of cultivating this with others. However you go about recalibrating your thoughts is your own choice, but comboing things with a metaphysical modality is a recipe for success, because the spiritual body is the one that gets left to the side the most. Meditating is always a key one that you can do to intermix these. You can set the intention through creating a sacred ceremony or going in for some energy work. And then really feeling that and feeling what comes up. You can use your thoughts to ask your body to do a wide variety of activities. You can ask it to uproot core root patterns. And then you change your thoughts and you're going about your day-to-day reality. And then you start to notice out there in the field, out in your environment, in your universe, that you look around. You're like, wow, I was asking for more financial abundance to come my way. And all of a sudden that person came knocking at my door, or I was offered this opportunity. You take this opportunity and you run with it because it's a gift from the universe. There's some cases, though, where that opportunity may arise, but it's under the same field that you were already working in. So it is shifting something up. But in some cases, you have to have a wider lens and look at the whole picture to really understand if you even want to continue to manifest and use your thoughts for that particular pathway. Maybe there's a whole new one with a whole new set of instructions, right? And this in turn helps entrain others, because the more of us that do this, then we influence the collective. And if we can really get a grip on our languages, we use our language because we see the thoughts, we feel the thoughts, we hear the thoughts inside of us. We hear them? Because sound makes up the universe. And if we're feeling them and seeing them and hearing them, then our language plays a huge role in how we've created them in the first place. For how fresh and new the English language is, it's a useful tool, it's a cosmic tool. But sometimes I wonder if some of the languages we're using on Earth, some, not all, are not even close to the highest octave we could possibly take them. And when one word means 8 million different things in some cases, and it can be spelt 8 million different ways, that might create confusion in the instructions. But it's a tool that we're going to use anyways, because it's what we have. It's what we are taught and what we're working with. It's almost like through cleaning up your thoughts, you clean up the languages. And if you clean up the languages, and you clean up the thoughts, and you clean up the visualizations, and you influence around you, what happens to civilization? What happens to existence? It upgrades. And even if it's just little steps at a time, look how far we've come in a couple hundred quantum solar years. Imagine how far we can go by the end of the age of Aquarius. It doesn't take that long to make massive, grand changes. And we are in a giant ascension cycle right now. One of the most potent in the entire history of Earth. So be mindful of your thoughts. Take some moments to go inside and really observe what they are. And let go of justifying what you're doing so that you can continue to do what you do. That's your choice if you do that. But if you let go and just let them come up, at the end of the day, the best critic of the self is you. And when you become soft and open to it, even if you don't fully make the changes you want to do, but you see them and you know they're distortions, or you honor yourself and you love yourself for where you are right now, at a rate that goes perfectly for you, that is a giant leap forward and a very special place to be. So the next time you're going to set an intention, say a thought, even if you can do it once a day, start there and then just slowly add until it catches up on you, because we run on instinct all the time. And then we can see what's going on as we do things. Even when we type those words, all of the various tasks, me sharing this video with you, it's a call to tweak, to reset the instructions, make sure they're even being said correctly in the first place. Are they blocking us from where we really want to be because we're so used to saying these sentences from when we were children, etc., etc., etc. I want to thank you all for listening today. It's a pleasure sharing all of these wisdoms and these fantastical topics. I just love doing this show. I'll have my link down at the end of the video, of course. And if you need any of my services, my sacred services, head over to my webpage. Reach out to thecosmicmessenger33@gmail.com. I'd be happy to answer any of your questions. Talk with you. I do 30-minute first-time curiosity chats. And I'm here for you. And I'll be back with more amazing content, wonderful videos, and I look forward to chatting with you all soon. Enjoy the realms of the multiverse and all of the metaphysical happenings happening. Happenings happening at this time. Pretty funny. We'll talk to you soon. Take care, everyone.